this is a story. I was down at the New Amsterdam staring at this yellow haired girl, and Mr. Jones struck up a conversation with a black haired flamenco dancer. And she's dancing while his father plays guitar. And she's suddenly beautiful. And we all want something beautiful. Man, I wish I was beautiful. Like it's um and then the beat kicks in right there too. Like where so they're dancing, right? I mean that's part it mirrors the music mirrors what he's saying.
Right.
I think it captures that feeling of being not quite there yet and wanting something and not and he says a couple times like we don't really know why we want this but we do anyway.
I think there is something psychological about the record in terms of like the conditioning that he's speaking to in terms of the material things that we lust for.
Mhm.
And this, like, I think it questions some of those things, kind of,
That's one of the
um,
reasons I connected the songs. Yeah.
yeah, it questions those things. Oh no, no, I definitely saw that. Definitely saw
Yeah.
that immediately. It makes you, it's the way that he's questioning it. It's quirky. That's the
Yeah.
best word to think of to like describe his perspective on all the, I guess, all the things, quote unquote, that we say that we need and that we want out of life, like money, power, fame. You know, he's addressing it from such a quirky standpoint.
Yeah.
You know, but it's infectious though. Like
Yeah.
as soon as the record came on, I knew what it was. You know,
Hmm. Yeah.
and I think, and this is what I mean. Like, and I can't state this enough. Man, the simple stupid is never going to fail. So when he's just going sha la 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 la,
Hmm. Yep. So again, that's a lot of these songs have things you can sing along to even if you don't know any of the words. And the I'm not going to try to sing his high note of Mr. Jones and Me, but like it's that's another one of those things that like everybody knows too. Like it's one of those that's instantly recognizable. Um, and we stare at the beautiful women. I mean, and it's we stare at the beautiful women. She's looking at you, man. There's got to be somebody for me. Like it's one of those, and that's a universal emotion. He's telling a story about something it probably didn't actually happen to him. It's probably a fictionalized story, but it's something that we recognize the emotional content of, right? You see a
yes,
beautiful person at the bar, and I mean, that's what they're doing, right?
yeah, yeah. No, no, no. It's that. That's what I mean. It's touching a nerve, and it's the perspective from which he's touching the nerve. It's almost like endearing. It's kind of nerdy.
Hmm. It is, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But in a good way, like in a healthy way. There's something. That's what it is. There's something innocent about it,
Hmm.
Andrew. There's
Yeah.
something innocent about the approach to the infectious. It has an innocence to it.
Hmm.
It's like it feels kind of just like it feels secure that he's insecure. If that
Yeah.
makes
Yeah, it
yeah.
does. And it's fascinating to know that how much trouble he had like after this was released and after this album. It's not a good thing, but it's interesting because the line that comes after I want to be Bob Dylan is Mr. Jones wishes he was someone just a little more funky. And when everybody loves you, that's about as funky as you can be. Like that's cool. But also when he sings it live, like even a year or two later, you can hear live performances of it. He says, when everybody loves you, that's about as fucked up as you can be. That's the line he sings like in a live show. Which is an interesting twist on because now he's on the other side of that line, right?
Well, 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 and you know how my faith kind of works. You know, you can prophesy, your own demise
Hmm.
through words. And so some of what you're telling me is happening to him is actually some of what he spoke to in this record
Hmm.
indirectly.
Yeah. No, he's saying like in the record, he says like, I want to be big stars, but we don't know why and we don't know how. Like it's and when I look at the television, I want to what? I want to see me staring right back at me. Like it's um and he
And
did, and
look
it
what
came to
happened.
pass. Yeah.
Right.
And
But
so
look what.
So
See
so
what I'm
so at some level, it's a beautiful, happy sounding, jangly pop song, and on another level, it's a "Be careful what you wish for" song.
yeah.
Um, because you can see pieces even in the lyric of this song, pre-fame, Counting Crows, that he's questioning, and they're questioning, like, is this really what I want? I do, but like I've also seen it destroy people too. So like, is it really? Yes, it really is. Because he's lonely, right? I mean, that's the frame of the song. Like he's sitting with a friend in a bar, like watching girls. Like it's so there's a loneliness there, and that's the first end of the hook. Like, we, when everybody loves you, you'll never be lonely, right? And um, there's a
sure about
dark there's a dark side to that too.
sure about that.
Yeah. And right, it's not true, but like it's and whether he's saying it genuinely or he's saying it as someone as a character who is on the hasn't become famous yet, and doesn't know what's coming for him. I don't know which it is, but it's still oddly prophetic.
For
So,
better and for worse, it seems.
mhm. Yeah.
You know, selling 7 million records is hard.
Yeah. It is.
Like
Yeah.
that's a lot of people coming to like, yeah,
Yeah.
fandom is real. So are
Yeah.
mental health issues. So
Yeah. And those smashed together, right? Like those are it's a difficult road for sure. And he seems much better now. Like
so now we have the juxtaposition between the main characters too, because
mhm.
whereas you know Jay's almost unbothered,
Yeah,
as opposed to Adam, who is very bothered.
right.
And that's what fame, you know, kind of like, you know, it's a pressure packed situation. It makes some people, it really
Mhm.
defines who you are already. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's sitting with the Cal Berkeley, so he's kind of like a nerdy, quirky kid already, probably. You know
yeah.
what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And so fame probably magnified that. Well, Jay was a big time hustler, so like he
They
already
magnified that too.
just magnified it, right?
Yeah,
So
and that's what they say too. Like, um, not becoming. They talk about that like becoming a president or becoming governor or whatever president. Usually, that it doesn't change you. It makes you more of what you already were. I mean, which is the same thing you're saying, right? It's and president being a president is one of the most famous things you can do, obviously. So it all it does is just amplifies the person, and it makes the worst the bad things worse and the good things better. Like it takes them and amplifies the
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. If you were an asshole before you had money, and now you have money, you're not like a good person now. You're just an asshole with money.
Right. And you can use it in bad and dangerous ways if you want to. And you have more access and you have more. Yeah, sure. Um, and
Absolutely.
and that's one of those weird things for me about doing this podcast and doing things. I mean, I don't think that I'll ever be famous on the level of Adam Duritz, obviously. Like, I mean, I'm not that iconic looking, even if we are famous.
You don't
But
know.
but I
You know.
also don't want people stopping me on the street, and I don't want like to have to hide. Like I don't. So it's a hard to think about this song in the context of what we're doing is a it's not difficult. It's not the word, but it's just an interesting. It's an
I'm.
interesting thought.
I'm used to knowing people like around the city.
Hmm.
But there have been a couple of times where, through according to hip hop, people have approached me, and it has been a little different.
Hmm.
And just think about it, like I'm not anybody, you know what I'm saying, on
Right.
any sort of level, even like in this city in terms of having a following. You
Right.
get what I
Yeah.
But that's happened to me a few times now in the past, year and some change. And it's a it's a different world, like pre summer, to quote Kanye.
Hmm.